Hello, great people, and welcome to an amazing episode of Beyond the Shadows. This is Pauline's Quest, your host, Mercy, and today we are on set with Pauline. We are talking about her remarkable story from grace to grass and back to grace. So, welcome, Pauline. Good to see you. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Mercy. How are you?
I'm also good. I'm blessed. Good to have you on set today.
Thank you very much.
On this your channel.
Yes.
So, tell us about the young version of Pauline.
Pauline was born in Egypt.
Wow.
A couple of years ago. And I know you are already asking, how are you born in Egypt?
Yes, yes.
This is the story. My dad worked for the Kenyan government back in the 70s, 80s in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he worked as communications officer, and this is a job he secured in his 20s, and he went to several countries. I'm told he went to he was once in Moscow.
Wow.
Then he moved to Egypt, then New York City. So how by the time he was getting his letter of appointment to Egypt, Mama was carrying me. So so yes, that's how I ended up being born in Cairo. I'm told we stayed there for 7 years or close to that. And the way this story is told to me, can you imagine? I was brought up by 3 Egyptian nannies who were working in shifts, Mercy, to take care of this girl.
At the age now of 0 to 7
0 to 7, I had 3 nannies who were taking care of me. According to my mom, she never touched a diaper. You know? Try to picture that. Anyway, and Arabic was the first language I learned. I'm told I was very fluent in Arabic. And we stuck there for, actually that's the place he took the longest in his assignment, 7 years. So from Cairo, Egypt, we then got an assignment to Zaire. You know how it goes when you are taken from one station to another. You first come home, then you proceed to the next station. So in Zaire, Kinshasa, we used to stay in Kinshasa. We didn't stay for long, a few months. And then after that is when he was now given his assignment to go to US, New York, Manhattan. So that is actually, by the time he's going to New York, that's the time I'm actually 9 years. Almost 9 years. You know, a 9-year-old guy can remember.
Yeah, so you have started enjoying now the goodies that comes with living the flash life.
The flash life in the American life. Let me tell you, I still really clearly remember. I used to go to an international school, and we used to be picked we used to live in a building in New York City that I think was 90 stories, and I remember a yellow bus. Even before the yellow buses were introduced in Kenya, I still had memories of that yellow bus. And I remember my first swimming lesson, I was taught in that school. And I remember that day my dad came to the school to just see me being, taking me through my first swimming lessons and all that. Life was quite good, Mercy. We used to do walks in the city, very tall buildings, and that is a life I was introduced to. And it was quite something. So my father took up his assignment, and after a couple of I think a couple of months, he fell ill. He fell ill because he had a depression relapse. When Daddy was in his 20s, when he went to his first assignment in Moscow, he was diagnosed with clinical depression, which put him on drugs from that time. So you see the way he took drugs for quite some time, and probably he assumed he's okay. And when he was in New York, he's decided, I think I'm good, I don't need these drugs. That probably affected him in a way, because shortly after that he went to a relapse, you know.
Maybe tell us for now. I know you are a mental. You are super loud on mental
health advocate. Yes, yes.
Tell us, what does it mean to have a relapse?
Okay. Relapse is probably, like I mentioned, he was first clinically diagnosed with depression. Then he was okay because he was on drugs. So when he stopped, he went back into the depressive episode. So the relapse is now going back to an initial diagnosis of something. You see, when people talk about alcoholism relapse, he had stopped drinking alcohol for some time, then he goes back. That is a relapse.
Oh, because now the medication he was under was managing.
It was managing, yes, perfectly well. It was managing. So a relapse is going back into the initial state a person was before medication. That's what happened.
Okay.
So I'm told he stayed in hospital for quite some time. What I'm not able to really get is while he was in hospital, Dad had been recommended he was recommended for a promotion to go to Paris, France.
Wow.
And it was in the process, but they were waiting for him probably to get out of hospital, because he had been hospitalized when he got the relapse. And the back then president of the country in Kenya was going to Paris at that specific time. And so you know how when our president is going to a nation, they send people ahead to just prepare before he's coming. Now, being a communications officer, you know, a communications officer is very key in such instances. So because he could not be on the assignment, someone else was sought.
Because now he is actually in hospital.
He's in hospital. It had gotten so bad he could not be released. So someone else had to
take up the job.
And this made his situation even worse. Because I'm told schools had been sought in France, a home had been sought for us, even a car. And you know how that life was. My mom had her car, my daddy had her car, my mommy had her car. So he missed on that assignment, and it didn't go well with Dad. Because you can imagine, you just imagine yourself being told, now you're going to this station, it is exciting, it's a new. Then you're told, now because we have to fast track this because the president is coming, unfortunately we cannot. So actually they didn't even retain him in the Kenyan embassy in New York. After discharge from hospital, he was coming back home to Kenya on medical grounds.
So he has lost the promotion. He has lost all the preparations that he had done for your coming. All of it is gone, and now he has to come back to Kenya.
He has to come back to Kenya. And actually, that's what happened. In the middle of that, he also developed diabetes.
Wow.
So now here we have two ailments. So now what does he do? He has nothing else to do but to just get ready and come back to Kenya. And actually that is what happened. We came back to Kenya and he continued with his assignment in the home embassy, home ministry here in Kenya. We stayed in Nairobi for quite some time. And then after that, I think things really got hard for Dad.
So now, medically speaking, he's well.
Medically speaking, he's well. But as much as he's been administered with the medication, he was not able to, I think, release that bit
That
of
loss.
that loss. Yeah. And you realize people who go through mental health challenges, sometimes their thought process is different, and their emotions are also different. So as much as he was taking drugs, this loss of promotion didn't go very well with him. Well, he still continued, came in Kenya, continued with his therapies and all that. But after some time, I think, as I'm told, Daddy just felt, oh, he cannot go on. And that is how, shortly after we landed back to Kenya, Daddy died by suicide.
So at this time, you're still in Nairobi.
We are still in Nairobi.
So he dies when you people are still living in Nairobi.
We are still living in Nairobi. And Mercy, you'll be surprised that back then, when I was 9 years, going to 10 years, I didn't know that is how Daddy died. But actually, that's how I think he just gave up in life. And sometimes I say, these people who die by suicide, it's not that they don't love the people they leave behind or anything. It's just their mind telling them this is how to get rid of the pain. Yeah. So that's actually what happened. And after a short while, it was not easy to stay in Nairobi. Remember now, we were three. We were three siblings. My elder brother, who was 12 when all this is happening. Myself, I was 9, approaching 10 when all this was happening, and my small sister is 4 years. My mom was a home mommy, you know. She never used to work. But immediately Daddy passed on, the ministry offered her a job in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, still where Daddy used to work. Kitambo, they used to do that. But after some time, I don't know what happened. Maybe one day we'll get Mom and we have a talk with her and just hear her story. But after a short time, Mom made the decision for us to go back to the village.
So she quits the job.
She quit the job. She resigned. Life was too hard. I asked her, why did you do that? She said life was too hard. And she has 3 kids. She's alone. She's not used to... Mom tells me my father really pampered her.
So she's not used to waking up in the morning, going to work, the pressure of work.
Let me tell you, according to the way Mommy's life was a soft life. Which is
soft life. So yeah, see at you. Then also when she was living abroad, she's has her car.
She has her car. She has a credit card. She has cars. Mommy had a good life. She tells me she was married for 15 years, but she enjoyed every moment. Do you know till today, Mercy, Mom still has dresses my father bought for her. Wow. She never used to buy dresses. She never used to. Anyway. Shortly after that, Mom could not cope with the pressures.
So now your brother is 12 years.
Yes.
So a 12-year-old is somebody who can process, like, this is what has happened.
Yes.
And also even you at the age of 9 going to 10, the adjustment, you can feel the adjustment.
I could feel the adjustment. You know, personally, I was Daddy's girl. I was Daddy's girl, Mercy. I was, you know, that in our tradition, you know, where the girl is named after the man's mother.
So you are actually your daddy's mom.
Conversations with my dad were on his laps. And let me tell you, I think Daddy just loved that Mzungu. I could not sleep until my dad, we could all not sleep until our dad hugs us to good night.
Wow.
And pecks us. That was our life. So yes, the absence of Dad was really felt by us very much. Yeah. It was the only person I could say probably did not feel much of a difference is my young sister, who was 4 years back then.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
young.
But my brother, and actually I think my brother was told the cause of death back then, and he was 12.
Because now when this is happening, you're not around.
Yeah. Yes. So what happens now? It is we moved to Shags. We moved to Shags, Mercy.
From New York.
From New York.
From driving your cars, from living this big flashy life,
Yes.
the soft life,
Yes.
to Nairobi.
Yes.
And now to Ushago.
To Shago. My Ushago in Kirinyaga, called Kiremenge. So look at it. Now we have to come. Fortunately, there's a small house that they had already built. Actually, by the time Mom was in Nairobi, she was already planning, and she built something small, a wooden house. It's important to say that a wooden house, yes, in Kirinyaga, which was three rooms.
Jesus Christ.
3 rooms and a latrine toilet outside. And I'll speak about why I'm speaking about that. Yeah?
So from the mansions in the US,
yes,
that's what now you're going home to.
Yes, and that is what we went to, Mercy. It was typical grace to grass.
Okay. You'll tell us about now that adjustment from Nairobi to now home.
Yes.
But I want you to do that on the next episode.
Okay.
So hold that thought.
Yes.
On the next episode of Pauline's Quest, we are going to continue from the story. We are going to talk about now from Nairobi to Kirinyaga, and we're going to hear how the adjustment was for them. I know you don't want to miss that episode, so click the subscribe button, like, comment on this video, tell us how you have found the episode, and probably is there something you want us to ask her, is there something you want to learn, something you want to understand, and we'll be sure to get back to you. So click like, share this video, and subscribe to support this channel. Until next time, see you.